Welcome to learn how we develop resource-wise industry in Ostrobothnia. This presentation is about envisioning process in REVISE project. This presentation also gives some highlights of the company's perspectives on the project. My name is Sanna Peltonen and I come from VAMC University of Applied Sciences Design Center Muova. The aim of the REVISE project was to support research, development, innovation and education related to resource wisdom. The project also aimed to promote sustainable development of product service systems and ecosystems in industrial SMEs and startups in Ostrobothnia. In the REVISE project, we developed a demonstration and research platform for resource-wise industry. The envisioning process included 5 phases: defining focus areas, identifying industry trends, creating a storyline for the vision, visualizing the vision, and creating VR demonstrations. Next, we go through these steps one by one. In the first phase, we defined where to focus in the envisioning process. The aim was to select the most relevant fields of industry for the region, so that the results would be interesting, inspiring, and informative for the SMEs in the area. In the beginning, we reviewed literature in order to find what resource-wise practices are identified in academic literature. We also did an Orbis database analysis to find out what kind of companies there are in Ostrobothnia. We started our interaction with companies by interviewing 3 leading companies in the area to get a quick overview and introduction of how these larger companies see resource wisdom and what they think are the most important issues at the moment. Database analysis directed us to focus on manufacture of fabricated metal products and construction. We found 60 SMEs as candidates for the interview. Finally, REVISE team interviewed 11 SME executives during the autumn 2020. SME interviews were carried out to identify current practices and goals for the efficient use of resources, as well as the challenges and development needs associated with them. The data was analyzed and we decided to focus on metal component manufacturing and forestry machine manufacturing. Based on the interviews, we found that resource wisdom is a rather unknown concept for SMEs. However, companies already carried out quite a lot of practical activities that support resource-wise operations. Companies associate resource wisdom mainly to recycling, reducing the carbon footprint, efficient use of materials, and energy efficiency. In SMEs, resource wisdom had an important role in improving economic performance through cost savings. Lack of up-to-date knowledge and data are major factors influencing lack of resource-wise development activities in these SME companies. Next, REVISE team conducted trend and industry analysis, where we identified trends for marine industry and forestry. In this phase, several reports, studies, and trend websites were reviewed and analyzed. The team identified several different trends and developments that seemed relevant in the target industries. We also interviewed experts from academia and business to inform and guide our research. The results of the trend analysis were presented at open discussion sessions for companies, where companies participated in choosing the most important and influential trends in their industry. In discussions, companies pointed out that the product lifecycle approach increases the comprehensibility of resource wisdom. Economic factors are the most important drivers of development activities for many companies. In particular, profitability is the key. One SME leader put it well when he said, "You can't save the planet if your business dies." We also learned that resource-wise questions are very company and industry specific. And finally, based on trend data and industry knowledge, the REVISE team formed design drivers to guide the development of resource-wise visions. Next, the REVISE team created a storyline for industry-specific visions. The first task was to define the scope of the vision. It was found important that both value chain level and company level perspectives are taken into account. Then the elements of the vision were defined. This included decision making in the most important messages to present in each vision. What are the technologies, benefits, and solutions that need to be presented? And how do these promote the importance and relevance of resource wisdom? At this point, LCA calculations were prepared to support the creation of industry visions. In fact, LCA was found very useful in identifying which phases in the value chain have biggest environmental impact. Also, companies were very interested in LCA. However, many companies do not have suitable data for LCA. In general, problems related to data concerned availability, confidentiality, or lack of resources in collecting data. At this stage, the main task was to prepare the visualizations for presenting and testing the visions. Since the goal was to provide VR-based demonstrations, the VR platform was developed at the same time. Visions also guided the development of LCA calculations model, as LCA calculations were needed for VR demonstrations. Visions were discussed with companies for getting feedback from the industry. LCA sparked good discussion with companies. Companies were especially interested in what LCA means and what kind of data it is based on. It seems that LCA creates concreteness and makes companies think about what the numbers could be in their own case. VR demonstrations were tested in exhibitions and company events for getting feedback from the target group. In general, companies were interested in the applicability of the VR technology. Users found that VR added value with immersion experiences, which enabled them to understand rapidly the vision and the LCA results. Based on the testing results, the VR platform was developed further to enable the prototyping of complex environments and fine-tuned to create comfortable user interface for navigation and interaction. Feedback also guided designing the demonstration videos that were produced in VR. The aim of these videos is to inspire companies to consider resource wisdom in their own activities. Thank you for watching this video. Please check also other videos in REVISE website.